long and winding road. Please refer to your program for the remainder of our ceremony. Thank you.
The Republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Different choices a day. This can be as simple as choosing what you'll have for breakfast or deciding what you're going to blast in your car, or it can be even as difficult as trying to figure out how to fix a seemingly broken friendship. My dad once said that every choice you make is a declaration of what you value the most. This is why I describe our childhood as our foundation. This is what helped bring us to this moment in our lives, and we are finally getting to see the value in our choices. We are here today because of the billions of choices that we've made that have led us to this moment. We did it! But I'm not here to only celebrate what we are doing. or going to do, but rather what we have done. I wish to start with our past. We could go as far back as recess and snow days, but I'm not going to do that. However, all of these experiences create the foundation for who we are. You may be wondering why I have decided to talk about the past and then bring up choices. It's because these choices are what make up our memories. Our memories are personal. As Ed Sheeran wrote, we make these memories for ourselves. Every time we said hello to a stranger in the hallway, or chose to stay to cheer on the basketball team, those were the choices that we have converted to our memories, our foundations. Memories don't only hold important knowledge about our lives and our personal traits, but they can also directly transport us into that moment. High school did a good job of allowing us to find who we are, as well as make new memories that remind us of who we were. A big majority of our memories are linked to certain emotions or certain aspects of the world. Just as it is important for us to link our brown and gold years to emotions and traits, I think it is just as important to link them to the people who helped us get to this point. Those people, there are people. A song by Bette Midler comes to mind when I think of these significant individuals. She says, "It might have appeared to go unnoticed, but I've got it all here in my heart. I want you to know the truth. Of course I know it. I would be nothing without you." Here are some of our students who felt that their lives were better because of the impact of others. Haley Halliday says, "My mom and dad always taught me to not be ashamed of who I am. This taught me that I can always be who I am, even when I am afraid." Camden Sanders says, "My band director taught me to work hard for what I want. He taught me that it won't be easy, but that it will be worth it in the end." Abby Clark says, "My grandpa was always willing to help me with homework, even when I was sick. He taught me to be kind and always be willing to give a helping hand." Haley Vermillion says, "My grandma is someone I look up to because she has always believed in me." Maddie Morris says, "My choir teacher is so good with connecting to her students and making us all feel important." Bridget Basinski says, "An adult that has helped me in my life is my cheer coach Whitney. She is always willing to help me and always very positive no matter the circumstances." These people here with us today, they have left little bits and pieces of themselves in order to help build us to where we are now. I think we have every right to celebrate them as much as we celebrate ourselves today. This is a big milestone for all of us. And to keep up with the theme for the school year, here are a few lyrics by the Beatles. "There are places I'll always remember in my life. Though some have changed, some forever, not for better, some have gone and some remain. All these places have their moments with lovers and friends I still can recall. Some are dead and some are living. In my life, I've loved them all." Congratulations on the choices you've made. Here's to our memories and to the people in our lives who have helped us get here. Congratulations, class of 2022.
About what career we want, the kind of people we want to be, and what kind of life we want to live. But my advice for you all is never be in too much of a hurry to become everything you want to be before your time. Get into the habit of being present in this moment and enjoying the view. We are in the D Event Center at Weber Stage, wearing glorified shower curtains, about to have the culmination of our high school experience handed to us on an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. This paper represents 3 years of incredible accomplishments, among which include 5 state championships and 23 region titles. We've taken about 759 AP tests, lost conservatively 68,000 pencils, completed 540 days of high school. Our band and choirs were awarded over 100 state superior ratings. We won Best Musical in the state twice, and at least 340 of the 680 in our graduating class went to St. George for spring break. Speaking of the present, our boys soccer and boys lacrosse teams are playing right now for 2 additional state championship titles. I'm sure they are devastated to miss my speech. As we soak up this feeling, let's remember we will find the greatest joy in our lives by living fully and authentically in the moment. So before we get carried away with our futures, and to keep us from wondering what may have happened had Coach put us in 4th quarter like Uncle Rico, here are some tips. Number 1, put your phone away. It's one we hear all the time. Don't worry, Mom, I did hear you. But we all need reminders that our SNAP score is not as important as the people in front of us. Number 2, serve others. Looking outside of ourselves is what living in the moment is all about. Our insecurities take up more brain space than they are worth. That space could be used to soak up the incredible opportunities and insights each moment has to offer. Number 3, just do it. Just go to the party, just join the club, just talk to the person. If we don't go for it, roll down the windows, take in the sights, and find our cruising speed, we will drive right by the incredible people and opportunities our side view mirror will remind us we're closer than they appeared. The regret we'll feel for not acting will follow us closer than a cop who found us speeding on Mountain Road. We can't change the past, although we wish we could take back some bad haircuts. Jensen Jacobs definitely knows what I'm talking about. And if I learned anything from having my appendix rupture on the day of prom, we can't perfectly plan the future. So all we have control of is the present, so let's seize it. The next time someone tells you, here's to your future, respond like Troy Bolton. No, here's to right now.
Such an exciting day to finally be graduating. I know we're all grateful that we survived the chemistry and Cheeto fire a few months ago to be here today. Through the AP test, mornings where I barely made it to school on time, thanks Mom for waking me up, homework, and all the senioritis that I know we've all felt these past few months, we're here, we made it. We have worked and waited our whole lives to get to this point, to finally graduate. Today we've been able to learn from the past and enjoy the present, but now it's time to look to the future. It seems like just yesterday we were getting dropped off by our parents as sophomores and getting lost around the school. I never believed my parents when they said that this time was going to fly by, but here we are as graduating seniors, ready to move on to our new chapter of life. In my family, whenever a kid graduates, it's tradition for my mom to give us a copy of the book, All the Places You'll Go, by Dr. Seuss. This story has a special place in my heart, and I think it's very applicable today. It says, "Congratulations, today is your day. You're off to great places, you're off and away. You have brains in your head, you have feet in your shoes, you can steer yourself any direction you choose. You're on your own, and you know what you know, and you are the guy who will decide where you go." We are starting a whole new part of life after high school. We're going to have lots of decisions to make, lots of tasks to accomplish, and lots of opportunities to choose from. I think the coolest thing about our future is that we get to choose what we do next. So the big question is, what is next? Whether that's college, work, military work, missions, or anything else, we have lots of opportunities and decisions to make. We get to decide what we do from here. We have learned the tools and skills to take us wherever we need to go. We have the ability to work hard, to take action, and to be leaders. Our future is really all about taking initiative. We can work for and pursue our passions and dreams, but no one's going to do it for us. Our future is up to us. We have the whole world in front of us, but we are the ones who are going to have to go out and take it. Sheryl Sandberg, the COO of Facebook, says, "Don't let your fears overwhelm your desire. You will never know what you're capable of unless you try." Even though the future can seem super scary at times, like attempting to do taxes or living off of ramen during college, there is a lot to look forward to. We have a lot of mistakes and memories ahead of us to be made. These next few years are going to be all about figuring out who we want to be and what we want to do. As Dr. Seuss says, you'll get mixed up, of course, as you already know. You'll get mixed up with many strange birds as you go. So be sure when you step with care and great tact. And remember that life's a great balancing act. Just never forget to be dexterous and deft, and never mix up your right foot with your left. And will you succeed? Yes, you will indeed. 98 3/4% guaranteed. Kid, you'll move mountains. So let's go move those mountains. Thank you.
You are wearing all of the gold Davis High apparel you own. Head to toe, you are covered in gold. You just finished watching the fan dance from the Army Saints, and you are now standing shouting DHS at the top of your lungs with only a few seconds left on the clock. If you haven't figured it out by now, you are at this year's homecoming game. You watch as Ty and Max run into the end zone, and in a flurry of fireworks and tinsel, you also find yourself running clear across the field to join together in a giant mosh pit of pure gold glory to celebrate the win of a lifetime. Now that is the feeling that we deserved, and that is the same feeling that we deserve today. 2 years ago, who would have thought we would have been there or here? I think 90% of us thought the world was ending after COVID, and then the next week the earthquake hit, and then the week after that the killer wasps. Who could have seen that coming? One thing that stayed consistent was each of you. I have to let you know now that you are gold. So gold for being here. Even when it was hard, even if we didn't quite know if we were going to make it back together. We embraced every new change like it was nothing, which is why I know you're going to embrace this next change like champs. Nothing can stop us now. In these next years, you have unlimited chances, unlimited opportunities, and unlimited freedoms. I know for a fact that you are all capable of remarkable things. I am so ready to see your names shining across the screens in 20 years, announcing your discoveries, your accomplishments, and your character. Please, please, go chase your dreams. Go live your lives to the fullest. I am expecting at least 2 of you to make it to the moon and back by our next reunion. I just want you to remember that these are some good times. So take a good look around. You may not know it now, but you're gonna miss this. And I'm gonna miss each one of you, but I'm also way too excited for your bright and golden futures. Hey, my dear old Davis Starts, you are all going to hit the bullseye, whatever that may be for you, because you are gold. So, so gold. Thank you.
A few housekeeping items that I'm going to work through here for a couple of minutes. Graduates, parents, grandparents, other family members, friends, and honored guests, we welcome you to our graduation ceremony. I'd like to recognize some individuals here on the stand, if I could please. So to your left, here on the very end, we have Gordon Eckersley. Dr. Jack Gordon is a member of our school board. Dr. Jackie Thompson is one of our assistant superintendents. Bree Dewey is superintendent of schools, Davis School District. Amanda Taggart, assistant principal, Davis High. Doug Peterson, assistant principal, Davis High. Bridget Gerard, Davis School Board member. Ms. Marie Stevenson, school board member. Behind them on your far left there, we have Mike Criddle. He's our school resource officer. We have John Zerbakken next to him, Dr. Logan Toon, both assistant superintendents. And we have our director of secondary schools, Dr. Daniel Linford, who has recently been named our new superintendent of schools effective July 1. And to your right, you have the important people, members of our senior class presidency and student body officers. We're grateful for them to be here. I'd like to also thank, if I could, our PTA president for this past year, Melanie Hill. She's done an outstanding job of supporting our students and our teachers and our community. I would be remiss if I did not recognize the faculty members who are with us here in the hall this afternoon. They are ringing the front row of the arena. They give so much every day and are deserving of our recognition and our praise today. The effort in planning that has gone into this ceremony is extensive, and I would like to express gratitude to our senior class officers, the commencement committee, council, and department, and also to Weaver State University for allowing us to use this facility. The ceremony is a solemn ceremony. It's a solemn occasion and an opportunity for our graduates to reflect on the many accomplishments of the last 3 years. It is a celebration and not a party. The party goes on at 10 o'clock tonight at Boondocks. We are here to honor each individual person in the class of 2022. Yelling, clapping, or whistling as a graduate's name is read can be disruptive and can cover the following name being read and announced. So we ask that you be considerate of each individual and hold your applause until the exercise is over. There is a professional photographer who will be taking pictures of each graduate, and we ask that you not come up to the front to take pictures during the exercise. Pictures will be available at a later time. At the conclusion, we'll have a recessional. We'll ask that you remain standing in the auditorium as all of our graduates leave the hall through the tunnel here. We would ask that you meet the graduates out in the west parking lot afterwards, after they've turned in their gowns. This ceremony is a recognition of at least 12 years of schooling. Other activities that have taken place up until this afternoon include the awards program, where we recognize many of our graduates. The Davis High class of 2022 has received nearly $15 million in total scholarships. That equates to almost 60% of this graduating class receiving scholarships. In our midst, we have a National Merit finalist. We have 16 who have graduated from Weber State with an associate's degree, and we have 9 others who are one course away from obtaining their associate's degree. We have 80 students who have received presidential scholarships. 33 different colleges and universities from around the nation and around the world have offered scholarships to this graduating class, hoping to lure these talented and outstanding young men and women to their universities. 2 weeks ago, we enjoyed a well-attended and spirited senior cotillion, where the many talents of our students were on display. And following today's exercises, we will have the all-night party at Boondocks beginning at 10 p.m. Graduation speeches are often attempts to share words of wisdom, to give pearls that you'll somehow remember and take with you. I'm not going to try and do that today. I'm going to tell you what you've taught me and the words of wisdom that you have shared with me over the last 3 years. I'll begin by reading a little bit from the first yearbook of Davis High. This is our first yearbook. Looks a little different than the yearbooks of today. Has a floppy leather cover on it, and there's not very many pictures in it, mostly drawings, but there are a few pictures. In the first yearbook, this is what the students left for us. The final and never completed step of creating the character and traditions of a school has been placed in the hands of the students. This first year, we have done much to build high standards and to get our school off to a good start. The challenge to improve this school and make it the best in the world, we give to the students of tomorrow. The students of tomorrow sit right here in this hall. You were given that task. When you came in as sophomores, you may have been daunted by the words out front of the building, defend the tradition. But not for long. Because you have taught me, as Elizabeth has mentioned, the importance of seizing the day, seizing the opportunity. For great moments are born from opportunities. That is the first thing that you've taught me. Seize the day. As has been mentioned, we have fewer students in our midst today than we would normally have because they are out on the field of competition seizing the day. We're there with them in spirit and hope that they are successful, but are proud of them because they have seized this opportunity, this moment. I'd like to relate a short story that I think helps understand a little bit about the next lessons that you've taught me. I don't know if any of you have ever been to the Biosphere in Arizona. It's a large glass dome kind of structure where it was built, I think, in the 1980s. And the idea was that we built this structure that's sealed, and we can put all of these different kinds of plants and trees inside of it in a perfect environment and see how they grow and how they do. And when they first put everything in the Biosphere, the environment was great, things took off. Things grew like crazy in the Biosphere. What happened, though, was that after a number of years, they began to notice that the trees, which had grown at an accelerated rate, began to droop and fall over. After some study and research, it was determined that the reason that these trees were bending over and breaking was because they had no wind. The presence of a wind makes a tree stronger, and thus it's able to mature and not fall down because of its own weight. So the causes of the stress on these trees allowed them to become strong. It created a reaction wood or a stress wood that makes them capable of surviving and overcoming. That's part of what you've taught me over the last 3 years. Let the winds of adversity refine us and not define us. We had adversity over the last 3 years. You were faced with it, many of you as sophomores, and have had adversity ever since in many ways. But you've not allowed that to define you. It has refined you and made you stronger. You've taught me fall down 7 times, get up 8. You've taught me never, never, never quit. And you've also taught me to leave a positive legacy is something that is important to you, and you have done so. Finally, I'd like to draw one more parallel, one more comparison. In February of 1980, I was a freshman in high school. I know that was a long time ago. And the Winter Olympics in Lake Placid, New York were about ready to take place. That time period in history was not much different than today in many ways. We were in the middle of high inflation in our country. There were a lot of negatives going on in the world. Russia had just invaded Afghanistan, and we were feeling kind of down as Americans. We had lost our confidence. We'd lost our swagger. We were being told that other countries had let out and overtaken us in areas of technology and other things. During the Olympics of Lake Placid, we were given hope by a hockey team, the American hockey team. It was a group of 19, 20-year-old hockey players who had never played together before, a bunch of college kids that were brought together on the world stage. They ended up going against the best hockey teams in the world. The Russians at the time had won 4 straight gold medals in the Olympics. And their roster was filled with 30-something-year-old players who were men and players that had played for a long time. Back in that day, the NHL players were not allowed to participate in the Olympics. But the Russian players were able to participate because at that time they weren't allowed to play in the NHL. So throughout those Olympics, and if you've ever seen the movie Miracle, it gives us the story quite nicely. We learn about how this young group of hockey players overcomes and becomes an inspiration to all of us. They produce a miracle, as the movie is entitled. Well, why do I share that with you? This group here has proven and shown me that you are the hope of tomorrow. You are the light on the hill. You are the miracle that we are looking for. You're prepared. You've done great things. You've been an inspiration to me and to your teachers, to your parents, to this community, and you should be proud. You've taught me not only to seize the day, but to find joy in the journey and to take joy in the journey. And once again, you've taught me to never, never quit. So graduates, today is your day. We rejoice in your success and we honor you for your accomplishments. We respect you for your determination. Before us, parents and teachers, is the class of 2022. They have met all of the academic and citizenship requirements established by the state of Utah and the Davis Board of Education. They are smart, they are brave, they have overcome adversity, they have learned grit and resiliency, and through the challenges and adversity, they have been refined. They have become one. They have never quit. They have proudly seized the day, and they have defended the tradition. They are leaving a positive legacy for those who will follow in their footsteps. I present to you the graduating class of 2022.
Friends, that was the last time your principal, Principal Wilkie, will address you as principal at Davis High. I think he deserves another Also, I know that our parents and our grandparents have already been recognized, but I think they deserve another shout out. Quick hand to them. After all, they were your teachers a couple of years ago, as we had to have you homeschooled. Graduates, you are an impressive sight to see. I'm honored to be here this afternoon to represent the school board and congratulating you. I'm pretty sure that when you got up this morning, not one of you said, "Oh, I can't wait to hear the school board members speak at my graduation." Am I right? Pretty much, huh? So I will keep it short. Yes, today is the day you start writing a new chapter in your life. And it's okay if you don't know how that chapter will read. Just enjoy writing it. I love Davis High. Every time I walk into Davis, I feel like I'm coming home. I am a Dart through and through. I'm a Kaysville girl. And yes, Elizabeth, I've had a ticket or two on the Mountain Road. So I know about Mountain Road. My father graduated from Davis High, all 8 of my siblings, my husband and I. My senior year, I was student body officer, so I know how much fun all of you officers have had this year. By the way, great job on all of your speeches. Awesome. At my graduation, I had the opportunity to speak as a valedictorian, and I sat on the stand right next to my principal, who was Richard Stevenson at that time. Well, 3 or 4 years later, he became my father-in-law. So I want you to look who you're sitting by today. They might end up being your brother or your sister-in-law, or your doctor, or your children's teacher, or even somebody that cures your cancer. So don't underestimate those people sitting by you. Life is kind of funny that way. You'll run into these people again. Today is not the last day you'll see them. I have attended over this year many of your musical programs, robotic tournaments. Shout out to robotics. Davis High's got it there. And to many of your sporting events, which I always love. You're all awesome. One of my favorite sporting events was the Unified Sports Basketball Tournament, where the players were led in the Olympic oath. Let me read the oath to you. We promise to take part in these Olympic Games, respecting and abiding by the rules and in the spirit of fair play, inclusion, and equality. I think it is a great oath to live by. It could read, I promise to take part in this life, respecting others and abiding by the rules and demonstrating the spirit of fairness, inclusion, and equality in all things. My husband's favorite book, and he really is quite an incredible man, so don't judge him by his favorite book, but his favorite book has been and still is Dumbo. I couldn't quite figure the reason for this when we were first married, but as I have read it to our children and our grandchildren, over and over and over again, watched the movie several times, I've come to realize that there is much to learn from the story of Dumbo. Lessons such as be kind to others, accept people for who they are, and that your uniqueness is to be celebrated. It wasn't Dumbo's feather, remember, that made him fly. It was the thing that made him unique, his big floppy ears. So take that which makes you unique and fly. Accomplish whatever it is you want, and don't forget to aim high. May I leave with you, I told you to be short, let me leave with you my favorite saying. Don't compare yourself to others. There's no comparison between the sun and the moon. They both shine when it is their time, and so will you. Go forward and shine. Be grateful, give your best, and always pay it forward. Now, to get to the reason why we're here. Because you have met all the requirements set by the state of Utah and the Davis School District, I, Marie Stevenson, member of the Davis Board of Education, accept this graduating class of 2022 as graduates of Davis High School. Congratulations, students.
Fist bumps.
Esther Clausen.
Kelsey Corinne Burnett. Savannah Lynn Coleman. Ella Birmingham.
Faith Hilliard. Alright, after the alma mater hymn and the school song, please make sure to exit in an orderly fashion. Your diplomas will be available in the parking lot west of the tunnel. Thank you guys and congrats. Okay, are you guys ready? Will the class of 2022 please stand? Will you please join me in turning your tassel from the right to the left?